What's up everyone and how's it going? On this week's video, we're taking a look at the XKGlow XKMax Atomix body panel LED light kit for the Jeep Wrangler JL to see what it's all about and to see what you can do with it. Well guys, for today's video, I'm actually going to be filming from inside our parking garage because for this video, I actually need to be a little bit darker than it currently is outside so that I can show you guys the full effects of the new lights we've installed on a Jeep. These are the XKGlow XKMax Atomix body panel LED light strips for the Jeep Wrangler JL and Gladiator JT. And on today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to install them and show you guys what you can do with them. And for those who are new to the channel, or maybe those who haven't simply just been not following along, this video is actually a part of our XKGlow Mini-Series. We're actually installing a full, complete XKMax system onto the Harlequin to see what that's all about. And if you didn't see the first video, you might want to check it out because in that video, we actually went ahead and installed the XKMax fender vent lights, which I'm going to show you guys how I added on to that by adding the Atomix body panel LED light strips. As you can see, we already got the light strips installed. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and jump back in time to show you guys how to install the strips. When you unbox the XKGlow Atomical Addressable Lighting Kit, you're going to get a total of 10 different components. Of course, the main components for this kit are the 4 LED light strips. These LED light strips are basically silicone, flexible LED strips. On one end of the strip, you're going to have your power connection, which plugs into your system, and on the other end, you have a capped off end. Because these are capped off, it means that these lights are actually designed to not be chained together. Unlike some of the other XKGlow products that we've used and tested in the past, these don't chain to each other, so you can't plug one into the other. These are designed to be the last light on the chain. These light strips do come with everything you need. On one side of them, they have the 3M double-sided tape, which is used to install them and mount them to your vehicle. And another thing that's on them is actually this round white strip. It's on one side of this. From what I understand, this white strip is actually where the LED lights are located behind, and this strip is what is going to be illuminated when you trigger the system. So as mentioned, you have 4 of these lights. You have 2 short ones, which are designed to be used on the hood. And then you're going to have 2 long ones, which are designed for the rockers. These LED light strips are designed to be trimmed down to the desired length. And if you do have to go end up cutting them, they've actually gone ahead and provide you with 4 additional caps to cap off the ends. And then along with the LED light strips, they also provide you with 4 different extension cords. These cords are used to be run through the vehicle to connect to the lights and to the control box. They give you 4 of them, 2 short ones and 2 long ones, so you should have enough to run them throughout your vehicle. Then to power up the system, it actually comes with a 4-channel control hub. This 4-channel control hub is basically what powers all of the lights, because all you're going to do is connect all the lights to the channels. And it is also used to communicate to your phone to give you the ability to program the lights to do whatever you want. This adapter also comes with 3 trigger wires. These trigger wires can be tapped onto different connections or switches on your vehicle to trigger different things. This control hub also comes with a programmable mini remote. And the last component, which is actually not shown on this table, is actually the wiring harness or power harness for the control hub. It is designed to connect to this. That wiring harness or power connection is actually designed to connect directly to the battery. And on that power harness, you also have a switch and a fuse. And of course, to wrap this up, we've also got our instructions, which tell us everything we need to know about this product and how to install it. So now that you guys have an understanding of what comes in this kit, let's go ahead and take a look at the first steps of the installation. The first step of the installation is to go ahead and mount the LED light strips. First one we're going to start with is the LED light strip for the rocker panel. To do this, I've actually gone ahead and already removed our factory Rubicon rock rail. I've done this for 2 reasons. First, by removing it, I'm going to give you guys full visibility, show you exactly how and where I'm installing the strip. The second reason is because with the Rubicon rock rails that are so tight to the body, by removing it, I'm giving myself enough room to properly hear this in the correct location. Obviously, your setup on your Jeep might be a little different. If you have any aftermarket steps that come down or away from the vehicle, you probably won't have to remove those to install them. But if you have the Rubicon rails, because it is so tight, I highly recommend that you go ahead and remove it. Removing them is actually really easy to do. All you have to do is remove the 6 10mm bolts that are on the backside of the pinch seam and the 3 10mm bolts that are located on the other side, and then you can simply remove it. Once you've decided whether you need to remove it and gone ahead and done so, the next step is to go ahead and clean the surface so that you can stick the lights. Surprisingly, this kit didn't come with any alcohol wipe pads or anything like that, so you are going to have to get some alcohol to clean the surface off to ensure that the double-sided tape sticks correctly. Once you've cleaned the surface, the next part of the installation is to figure out where you're going to mount the light. For myself, I've decided that I'm going to mount it right on the bottom side of this curb. So we're going to take the strip and we're going to simply stick it on just like that. There are two important features or steps that you need to know about when you're mounting this. First, when you mount it, you want to ensure the white strip is facing upwards or outwards. And then second, you want to make sure that this plug is towards the back side of the rocker, because that is where you're going to want to connect it. Pretty simple to do. The only thing that you do need to know is that this is about 80 inches of material and the side of the body isn't 80 inches. So you are going to have to go ahead and trim it. To trim it, all you're going to do is find the length, the desired length, mark it, then simply go ahead and cut it. Once you've cut it, you're then going to take the provided cap and simply press it onto the end. I do suggest siliconing the edge of that to ensure that no moisture or elements get in it to fry the light. Once you've got that cut, the last step is to simply go ahead and peel off the backside of the double-sided tape and simply press it into the location. Now for the hood light, we're going to utilize the smaller LED light strip. This is designed to mount on the inside of the hood. The directions state that when you're mounting this strip in, you want to make sure that the white round circle is facing downwards, and you want the power strip to be at the end of the hood. This LED light strip is designed for this length. So it's designed for this location, and it's the exact length you need, which means you don't have to do any trimming to get this to fit. All you have to do is simply go ahead and clean the inside of the surface with some alcohol, then go ahead and peel off the double-sided tape and simply stick it into place. And the last step to the installation is to connect the control hub to the lights and then the control hub to the battery using the provided wiring harness. This is the wire harness that I did not show in the unboxing, but basically it is designed to connect directly into the control hub using the plug right here. And then we've got this box here, which I'm assuming there's some type of mechanism there, but not quite sure. And then we have a switch right here on this one split out, which turns on and off the system. And then on the other side, we've got our two cords that are designed to connect to the battery. We've got a ground and a power. On the power, we've got a fuse, which is a 10 amp fuse.
we're going to set this aside because we'll show you guys this in a second. The first thing we want to do is connect the lights to the controller. This controller, again, is a 4-channel controller. This system is designed to go into specific channels. In the instructions, it states each light is going to go to each channel. So the channel D is actually going to be the right rocker, so the passenger side rocker. Channel C is going to be the right hood, passenger side hood. The channel B is going to be the driver or left side rocker. And then channel A is going to be the driver or left side hood. All we have to do is simply connect them into it. One thing I do want to mention is it is suggested that you follow this for the first installation, but if for some reason you put it in the wrong places, I know for a fact that in the mobile app, you can actually configure it, each channel, to how you need to. So if for some reason you plug it in and you can't access these, you can easily just change it in the app. But I do suggest following the instructions just to make it a little bit easier for yourself. So all you do is connect the lights. You just simply slide the connections and line them up and then click them in place. One thing I did want to mention is that when you are doing this, and this is something I probably should have mentioned to you earlier, but when you are doing this, if for some reason when you're lining up the clips, if it's hard to push it in, check the alignment because there's a chance that the pins are not aligned. And if you force it, you're going to end up damaging the connections. It should be an easy, simple connection. You shouldn't have to apply any force. One thing to note on the connections is they do have these little tabs here, which when you connect them should line up. And then you can simply go ahead and run a zip tie to hold the connection from coming apart. That's up to you guys. I don't necessarily do that on all of mine, but you could go and do that if you needed to. So once you've got all the connections connected, the next part is to, I guess, do the wiring of the wiring harness. All you're going to do is take your wiring harness, you're going to take your power connection and simply slide it into here. So just simply connect that up, push it together, and then you're going to take the wiring harness and connect it to the battery. All you need to do is take the terminals off. You take the negative. Well, start with the positive. You're going to undo your 10 mil. You're going to run that over to there. Slide that on. Tighten that up. Once you have the power connected, if the switch is already on, which is in my case, you'll see the light turns green. If not, you just click the switch and it will turn it on, as you can see right there. Green light means that there is power to the unit and it's ready to connect to your mobile app. And in this case, we're actually seeing a little bit of light starting to come here. So the system is working. Well, guys, that pretty much wraps up the required steps for the installation of the system. But there is one additional optional step you could do if desired, and that is to wire up the trigger wires. This system comes with 3 trigger wires. It has a red one, a black one, and a yellow one. These trigger wires are designed to be either connected to switches or tapped into lights on your vehicle so that when those items are engaged, what it does is it triggers a light display through the system. This system is already pre-configured for the 4 lights. And based on the instructions, what you need to do is wire up the red trigger wire to your brakes. You're then going to wire up the black trigger wire to your right turn signal and the right one to your left turn signal. And if you do that, basically what will happen is when you brake, the system or the 4 lights will actually turn red. And if you trigger the left turn signal, it's going to flash amber on that side and vice versa on the right side. One thing I did discover in my last XKGlow video was that in the app, you can actually change trigger wires. So those aren't the only options available. There are a few other options. For example, you could wire it up to courtesy lights. So you could tap it into your door light. So when you open up your door, it would turn all the lights to white. And there's a bunch of other brake light features in there and different things you can do. So 3 trigger wires that can be wired up to different ways. Either follow the instructions or get creative. For this video, I'm probably not going to tap those up. I might, but maybe not. We'll have to see later on this video. But if I don't, I will show it in a later video. So at this point, that is pretty much all the steps to get this unit installed. And that is the installation. As you can see, the installation of the system is actually pretty simple. All you really have to do is peel and stick the lights, run the wires for the lights, connect those wires to the controller, then connect the controller to power, and then you're good to go. I do want to mention that the installation I just showed is simply just the installation for the 2 LED light strips. If you are combining it or adding it to the fender vent lights, the installations can be a little bit different. And there's 2 ways you can do it. If you went ahead and purchased the full fender vent light, then the installation is actually 2 separate installations. First, you're going to go ahead and install your fender vent lights. Then you're going to go ahead and install your LED light strip lights. And then all you do is connect them both to the app. The mobile app actually allows you to connect up to 4 different controllers. And then once connected, you can actually control all of the lights that are on each of the controllers in one single place. This is actually pretty impressive because you can actually have a lot of lights on that channel. And it's really nice because it makes it really easy to expand and add on to the system. The other method is if you're like me and you only have the add-on fender light, then the installation is a little different because you actually have to go ahead and add the fender vent light to one of the chains on the Atomic LED light strip kit. So what I did is I ran the wire straight into the fender vent light, and then on the back of the fender vent light, it actually has one cord going in and one cord going out. So on the one going out, I ran that up to here. I did use an extension from here to here because unfortunately it is not long enough. So I ran an extension there. But then once that's connected, the lights will work. There is one little thing you have to do in the mobile app, and it's a configuration thing. Not going to show you guys that right now. I'm actually going to show you guys that when we get into the mobile app, but it is one little step you have to do to get everything to function correctly. Now that you have an understanding of how to install the hood, now that you have an understanding of how to install the LED light strips and also possibly the fender vent lights in the full complete system, let's go ahead and flip the camera around and connect our mobile device so that we can show you guys the mobile app and show you guys what you can do with these lights. This is the XKGlow XKMax mobile app. First thing you need to do is connect the mobile app to your controller or your controllers. Mine is already connected, but if you're needing to connect your own, you're going to click the button in the top left. Or you can also click the button on the top right, which is going to bring up any available paired devices that you previously have paired. In this case, I have my current one connected, and if I click this button, it's actually going to turn it on and off. Once you have it connected, the next page you're going to go to is the palette page. On the palette page at the top, you have all of your channels listed. So with this controller, I actually have 4 channels available, A, B, C, D. And on these channels, I actually have them split up into 6 different zones. You have 1 zone, 2 zone, 3 zone, 4 zone, 5 zone, 6 zone. Below the zones, I have your palette place, which is where you would pick colors. You can see right now I'm selected on 6, and if I drag 6, that's going to go ahead and change the colors of the lower strip on the Jeep. So I can change that to whatever color I want. I can also go ahead and change 4, which is going to change the strip on the hood. With this, not only are they color separated, but you can see here, I actually have a group of channels in one place. And if I take my other numbers and drag them onto that group, I can add them into one single group and then simply move my colors around to change all of the zones at once. In this page, you can also select what you want the light effects to do. So for example, I can have it do right chase. I can have it do split chase. We can have it do bouncing, strobing, bursting. Lots of cool options here. And on this, you also can select the speed at which items do. So if I increase the speed, it's going to go faster. If I slow it down, they're going to go slower. You also have the option to change brightness, which I'm not sure why most people do this, but you can turn it way down, or you can find the brightness you want. Honestly, I'll probably keep mine bright all the time. Then the next cool option on this page is the chameleon button, which is down at the bottom right. if you click that, let's first put this on solid. If you click that, you can actually go ahead and select the color you want the lights to be. So let's go with blue here, and we've got our lights set on blue. Really cool effect. I like the fact that you can match a color if you can't find it in this palette chart. The next tab at the bottom is themes. If you go to theme page, this is where you can select pre-existing themes or pre-programmed themes. Lots of cool themes in here. Some of them are useful. Some of them are just funky as can be. What's cool about all the themes is you can actually go ahead and customize them. So if you click the customize option, you can actually change colors. You can add colors. You can add more colors. You can delete colors if you don't want those. Lots of different things you can do. You can also change the brightness on this page. You can go down and change the pattern that it's doing. So you can pretty much configure these preset themes to whatever you need to. Some of them are actually directional, so you can change the directions as well. And then if you like what you've created, you just simply hit save, and it will save it as one of the themes. In here, you can also select what pieces you want the themes to appear on. That can also select the zones. Lots of different things you can do on this page. So yeah, lots of cool themes in here. The next tab you have at the bottom is Magic. So Magic is related to sound. So it's coming through your phone. And on here, you can basically, it's working based on my voice, different things you can pick, different directions, different preset ones in here. I believe you can create your own as well, which is crazy. I don't not even get into that, but there's tons of stuff you can do. Sensitivity, you can adjust how sensitive the microphone is. So if you want it to be super sensitive, or if you want it to barely pick up anything, it can also do that. So cool effect, especially if you want your lights to play based on music. The next tab we have is config page or settings. In here, there are a bunch of interesting things. There's connected lights, startup animation, default modes, sensor wires, remotes, general settings, video guides, and feedback. One thing that's really important is the connect lights. Say for some reason when you plug your lights in for the first time, one of the lights is only half illuminated. This happens because when you plug that light into the channel is not sending the right information for that light. So if that happens, this is the page that you would adjust it. On here, you can change certain things. So for example, if your first light was, say your one light over here was not showing, let's just go ahead and delete this fender light. If for some reason the system was like this, then what you would do is things are not working because the first light is going into is the fender light, but the fender light is set on a 36 panel strip light and there's not enough LEDs in that. So what you would do is you click plus, then you're going to go down to Jeep. And then in Jeep, you're going to find the light you're adding. So in this case, we're adding the fender vent. Then we're going to rearrange it so it's in the correct location. Then from here, we can leave it like that if we want them to be the same, or we can actually zone them into two separate things by clicking in the middle. You can see the light changed and it indicates which light is now there. This is pretty cool because it means you can go ahead and add multiple lights onto this if you are creating a giant sequence of lights. So lots of cool things you can do to continue to add on to this. Let's just delete those. Once you're happy with it, you're just going to go back and that is going to save it. And now we're back to this page where we can go back to sequence and select that. But if you go back to the configuration, you also have startup animations where you can select what happens when you turn on the system. Tons of preset ones, tons of basic ones, whatever you want to do. You can customize it. You can do anything you want on this page. Then you have sensor wires in the sensor wires. So this system has 3 sensor wires. I have not hooked mine up, but you have a red wire, a yellow wire, and a black wire. They are preset up to be brake, turn, and turn. What this does is it gives you the ability to tap onto existing wires on your vehicle to trigger actions to happen based on through your system. So in here, if you had the red wire, you can pick what you want it to do. If you want it to go all red, so let's say we want this one to flash red, we can make it go all red. So you can pick the light that you want. So let's have all the lights on here. So you can make it so that when you hit the brakes, everything goes red, or you can have it go white. You can make it do whatever you want. It's really cool. You can set that up. So this is something I'm going to probably show you in a later video once I have everything of all the XKMax products added on for Jeep. And then key fob, I did show this before. This is where you can actually set up the key fob. I actually have it here. And on the key fob, you can see when we program it, the key fob here, if you press it, you can turn off the lights. You can set up to turn on. Had this set up. You have it set up so that if I press B, it turns all white on. So you can pretty much turn it off and then turn it on. So you can set up your little key fob, which is really nice if you want to have quick features like all white or anything really. If you have a preset thing, you can just use this so you don't have to pull up your mobile app. Really cool how you can configure that. Then of course you have general information, which you can set everything up. And video guides, which is basically just tips and tutorials and feedback. And of course the last setting here is circle, which I don't really need to carry, but this is basically like a group chat thing where people add on to. Well, guys, that was the mobile app. Honestly, I really just skimmed the mobile app. I didn't really show you guys everything because if I did go through every little detail of the mobile app, that would have turned out to be a 3-hour-long video. And nobody wants to watch a 3-hour-long video where I simply go through a mobile app. But I do hope that based off what I did show you, you now have a good understanding of what you can do with that app and how you can use that app to configure the lights on your Jeep. I honestly think the possibilities are endless. As you can see with my Jeep right here, I've got 3 different colors going because I've set this up as 3 different zones. And then on the other side, I have 3 different colors going as well. And this is all just to basically match my Harlequin effect. So it's really cool to see that I can actually do this and that, it's something possible. I was really impressed to see that you could divide this up and make it work the way I want it. One thing I do have to say about the mobile app is it's actually really well done. They have taken a very complicated situation where you're combining 4 different controllers, 4 different channels, different zones, and they've done a really good job at making it somewhat simple to be controlled in one single app. Yes, when you first open up the app and start adding things, it does become a little bit overwhelming and it looks very complicated. But once you start to use it and set the system up, it actually becomes pretty simple to understand and easy to use. So if you first fire it up and you're like, oh God, what do I do? Take your time, work through it. It will become pretty familiar and you'll be able to get it set up the way you want. So I'm really impressed with that. Also, I have to say that this app is a lot better than the previous apps that I've used from XKGlow. And it shows that they are continuously evolving it and making it better for their end consumers. The previous app was glitchy, it would turn on and off, it wouldn't work right, wouldn't work with Android, but this one seems pretty smooth. So I'm really happy to see that they've evolved their apps and made it easier for the end consumer to use. Overall, guys, I'm pretty happy about these lights. They were easy to install, easy to set up. Some of you guys might be thinking, well, these lights are just another accent light for a Jeep and, it's just lighting up the side of the vehicle. Yes, it can be used for that. But I do want to tell you guys that these lights do have some functional or functionality built into them. For example, the fact that these controllers have trigger wires that you can actually tap in or put on switches to trigger different things to happen in the system brings you added functionality. For example, you can tap it into your turn signals and give yourself some added side turn signals, or you could tap it into your brake lights and give yourself the option to turn all the lights red as an advanced brake system. Again, one thing to note about that is you might not be able to have red on the side of the vehicle, so you might want to look that up, but it is still a pretty cool system. Another thing that you can do, not even using any of those trigger systems, is you can actually just use these systems as an all bright white option, and that could be useful if you're using them as a rock light for nighttime adventures. Because if you fire this up, it can actually illuminate around the Jeep and help you see obstacles you need to go around. So cool feature there. And speaking of the white light feature, one thing I noticed is that this light in the inside the hood, or just on the inside of the lip, actually still serves another purpose, because if you're working on your engine at night, you can actually use that light in white or any color to illuminate the engine bay to make it easier to work on in the dark environments. For myself, I have a feeling that's actually going to be one of the biggest useful things that I have with this system, because there are many times that I'm working under that engine bay and it's just a little bit dark. So it's going to be nice to be able to fire that up and see a little bit more of what I'm doing. So functionality, there's functionality in this system that's not only accent lights. Obviously, accent lights are pretty cool, and in different situations, it's going to be fun to play. Yeah, guys, at this point, I don't really, well, actually, no, I do have one more thing I want to mention. So the one more thing I want to mention is a little bit of feedback for XKGlow and for maybe you guys to understand, and it has to do with integration of this fender vent light as an add-on. So with the way they've designed this, it's to be chained in with the hood light, but the one thing that was a little challenging, and one thing I recommend for them to do, is to increase the length of the cords coming out the back of this. The reason is because if you increase the length of the cord, you can make it up to this plug without having to add a long extension. So if they made that longer, it'd be nice, because it'd just be a simple plug and play. Again, not a big deal, but something for them to consider for future versions of the system. The next thing, which is probably more of a personal opinion, is that when you plug this system up, which I have it right now, and you turn, for example, bounce system on, these two lights go the same directions because of the way you installed them, but the fender vent light goes the opposite direction. You can see this one's going down and up when this one's going the opposite way. I personally would have rather them go the same way. In the app, if you're doing the custom palette thing, you can configure this to go the same direction by zoning, which I've done. But when you hit the themes, it always defaults to the back. So I wish this would go the same way. Again, some of you might like it this way, but for myself, I kind of want everything to go the same way and then, follow along. So again, little thing. It doesn't affect the performance of it. It still works just fine. But yeah, otherwise, I don't really have anything crazy about it. The app is great. The installation of the product, everything's simple. I would recommend this product. If anyone wants to add some lights or some action lights to the side of their vehicle, or get some added functional lights on their vehicle, definitely check out the XKGlow XKMax Atomix body panel LED light kit for the Jeep Wrangler JL and Gladiator JT. If you're interested in finding out some more information or picking one up for yourself, what I will do is put the XKGlow link right here and in the description below. If you're planning on purchasing them from the XKGlow website, you can actually use the code EvolvedJeeping10 to save yourself 10% on your order. And for my viewers out there that like Amazon, which I'm kind of one of those people, I will also put the Amazon link below as well, just to make it easier for you to go to wherever you want to buy them from. As usual, guys, if you have any questions or comments about anything I've showed in today's video, feel free to comment below. I'll do the best to answer it. As this is part of our XKGlow Mini-Series and we are not finished expanding the XKMax system, make sure to subscribe and check out the Mini-Series that we're running, where the next video we'll be adding something more to this system to make it even bigger and even better. Yeah, so as usual, guys, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Keep evolving, and we'll see you guys on the next video.